the critical energy availability threshold. This is so important. Ladies, you need to know about this. You probably have all been on a diet at some point in your life, and when you go on a diet, you do two things. You change what you're eating. Usually you drop how much you're eating and you bang up the amount of exercise you're doing, and all you're trying to do is achieve what's called an energy deficit. Eat less, move more. We've heard it all before. We've just got to eat less and move more. Now, the problem with that is that if you exceed your critical energy availability threshold, the problem is that you start to negatively affect your body, and you can negatively affect your body for a very long period of time, because you can stay under this threshold theoretically for as long as you want, but some very serious changes are going to occur in your body. So in terms of the bad things that happen when you drop your energy too low, or when you expend too much energy in addition to restricting too much energy, what you start to see is you start to see changes in your luteinizing hormone pulsatility. So luteinizing hormone is very important in terms of triggering ovulation. So if the pulsatility of this hormone is affected, it's going to affect ovulation, which is then going to affect your menstrual cycle. So we start to see menstrual cycle dysfunction. It can lead into something called amenorrhea, which is an absence of a menstrual cycle. This is really a very significant issue. Another problem on top of that is that you start to negatively affect your thyroid function, or your thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormone is really important in regulating our metabolic pace. So if you go into what I call an energy crisis, not enough energy going in, trying to expend too much energy via exercise, then unfortunately what ends up happening is your body responds very quickly, and your thyroid function or your thyroid hormone is affected, and your body tries to slow you down, so your metabolism is affected. Now, how long does it take for some of these changes to occur? A matter of days. Our brain is a lot smarter than we think it is. It picks up on this energy crisis very quickly. Another thing that happens is that there's a hormone called leptin. Our brain responds to leptin, and in fact, in the body, one of the roles of estrogen is to sensitize leptin in our brain. So as your estrogen levels start to rise as you head up towards ovulation, you actually are less hungry because your brain is more sensitive to the effects of leptin. And here's a fun fact for all you ladies who are watching: men are more leptin sensitive than women. So unfortunately for us ladies, it tends to mean that we're not as leptin sensitive, which means the message isn't received as strongly in our brain, so we're more susceptible to being hungry. Go figure. So not fair. Anyway, so as you start to create this energy crisis in your body, your leptin levels start to fall, and that triggers a response in your brain, particularly in the hypothalamus, to get you to eat. So you get very, very hungry. Another problem long term with staying in this energy crisis is that it can affect your bone density. So you start to lose bone mass. Our bone mass makes up part of what we call our lean body mass, and it is our lean body mass that is one of the strongest predictors of rebound weight gain. So if you lose a lot of weight and you lose a lot of lean body mass, you are much more likely to regain the weight you've lost with interest than someone who protects their lean body mass. So it is so important when we're losing weight to protect our lean body mass, to stay above that critical energy availability threshold. Ladies, this is going to probably surprise a lot of you. You might be thinking, well, what is that level? And it's about 30 calories per kilo of lean body mass. 30 calories per lean body mass. So as an example, if you've got 50 kilos of lean body mass, your critical energy availability threshold is about 1,500 calories. Now let's think about some of these diets that we get told to go on. We get told as women 1,200 calories. 1,200 calories puts you below your threshold. So that's going to have a very deleterious effect on you long term. Yet just about every woman at some point in her life gets told, well, you got to have about 1,200 calories. So you need to calculate for yourself. You need to figure out, number one, what your lean body mass is, and then it's about 30 calories per kilo of lean body mass. So for myself, I have about 50 kilos of lean body mass. So my energy availability threshold is about 1,500 calories as well. So this is really important. If you're going to go below that long term, you're going to have your bone density affected, you're having your thyroid affected, you're going to spike your cortisol. Your cortisol levels are going to go through the roof, and you're going to end up having the opposite effect of what you're trying to achieve. So rather than losing weight, your body's going to be hanging on to everything. It's going to be driving up your appetite hormones, so your leptin levels are going to be falling, you're going to be getting more and more hungry, and you're going to have a disastrous effect. So there's a really great way of making sure you don't go into this type of situation, and that's number one, is make sure you change your diet in the right way, and number two, you do the right type of training. I've just covered all of this in my Strong Women series. I've done part 1 and part 2 already. On Monday night coming, so next week on Monday night, I am covering part 3, which is putting it all together. So we've looked at the menstrual cycle, we've looked at the different hormones throughout the menstrual cycle, we've also looked at appetite hormones, we've looked at some dysfunction. Last night we looked at protein, carbs, fat, we looked at calories, flexible dieting, nutrition for training, and we're going to put it all together into like a little mini blueprint for women, so that they can think about their food in relation to what time of month it is. They can think about training in relation to the type of training, nutrition in relation to the type of training you're doing, because it depends on if you're doing cardio versus if you're doing weight training as to when you eat and what you eat. So if you're interested in this topic, make sure you sign up at my webinar. If you head on to the events section on my Facebook page, you can join the webinar for Monday night coming. I have a recorded version of week 1 and week 2. However, this is not going to be available for long. This will become members only content. I will make it available for a few weeks, and then after that, it will go to the website where it will be members only. However, don't stress, I am making this available as a 30-day Strong Women series that you will be able to purchase. It will be available hopefully at the end of this month. All right, bye everybody.